Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to our witnesses for being here with us today and for your dedicating your careers to the safety of nuclear energy in our country. Like many of my colleagues, I have been deeply concerned about the independence of the NRC, especially given the pressure from the White House, the Department of Energy, and the so-called DOGE effort. Since President Trump took office last year, we've seen a consistent campaign of consolidating power in the White House. It's not limited to the NRC, but certainly we have seen an overall effort to weaken independent agencies. And several former NRC officials have publicly warned that this type of intervention at the NRC will pose serious safety risks and slow the deployment of nuclear energy. So everyone in this room, everyone who's left and everyone who regularly serves on this committee knows that we need urgently to get more generation online to meet growing demand. We've had hearing after hearing about that, and it's hugely important, but it can't be an excuse to create a regulatory process that is influenced by politics. And this industry in particular cannot afford to lose public trust, as you all know. Last week, during a hearing before this committee, Energy Secretary Wright rebuked a DOE employee, Seth Cohen, who had proclaimed, and I think you all probably know this, but just to make sure, proclaimed that the NRC would do whatever DOE told it to do. And I heard you, Commissioner Marzano, talking about the good collaboration between DOE and NRC. So, obviously that is a good sign, but I am concerned about the statement. I'm very glad that the secretary said he didn't agree with the statement, certainly, but it is still a concern that he could have that influence and that kind of attitude could pervade the thinking. And so, right now his LinkedIn profile says that he's simultaneously working at DOE, NASA, and the NRC. So, Chairman Nee, can you confirm if Mr. Cohen is an employee of NRC? And do you agree with his comments that, and this is a quote, the NRC is going to do whatever we tell the NRC to do, with the we being the Department of Energy?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. I can confirm that Mr. Cohen is a DOE employee who is on detail to the NRC. My experience with Mr. Cohen is the exact opposite of what was described. I heard the Energy Secretary say last week that he is passionate about implementing the executive order and seeing the safe deployment of nuclear energy. That has been my experience with Mr. Cohen. I've only spoken with him maybe a couple times by video. I don't believe he's in the area here, but what I have seen in my interactions with Mr. Cohen is that he has given some innovative thinking, some new ideas to the NRC. I am not seeing or hearing any of the things that were said last year. So this belief that that's happening at the NRC, that is just not true.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. And I do hope you all can see why that is a concern, and I hope you share that concern. I see your heads nodding, so I'm going to take it in the affirmative that everyone shares that concern. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, I also want to give you an opportunity to clarify a little bit, adding to what you just said about how the NRC is working together with the DOE, specifically on the reactor pilot program. Can you talk about how the NRC staff that are detailed to the department are helping the department?
Yes, I can, and I just had a very one-on-one engagement with one of our details from the NRC over to the Department of Energy. And what NRC is doing is observing the DOE authorization process and providing technical input and insights into how the design is maturing and how it could transition over to licensing for the NRC. And I'll give you a real example. So this staff member was observing the testing of an important component for a design, the shutdown control rod system, and he noticed something about the reliability of the system and the tests that they were performing and had some questions. And based on that input, DOE performed additional tests to confirm the reliability of the system. And that's how NRC is adding value. This whole thing that the DOE is doing to test these reactors, it's what we need to do as a country to test these technologies before they go down the pathway for commercialization. So from my perspective, Congresswoman, we are doing what we need to do as a unified federal government to deploy nuclear technology safely in America.
Okay, well, thank you, Chairman Nee, and I think I have time to get one more thing in here, which is, I know earlier this month, NRC published a draft rule to govern how the commission would assess reactor designs that had previously gone through authorization by DOE and DOD. And so, Chairman Nee, can you just confirm that the proposed rule would put the onus on reactor applicants to detail how reviews by DOE and DOD adhere to the NRC's safety and testing requirements, and that they aren't getting a special fast pass?
That's correct. Any applicant has to demonstrate that it meets NRC's requirement with information.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I've gone over my time. Thank you all again for your testimony and for your work. And with that, Madam Chair, I will yield back.